Well, the clouds have finally parted and made way for a gorgeous autumnal afternoon here in the west of Sydney. A fixture which was originally penned down to be played on the Central Coast, forced further south. One of Mother Nature's cruelest tricks, of course, but she's turned it on for us here today at Wanderers Football Park as we approach the halfway mark of the New South Wales NPL men's season. It's round 15 here as the Wanderers Academy play host to the Central Coast Mariners Academy. Pete Pryor with you this afternoon to take you through all the action as it unfolds. An absolute pleasure to have your company, as it always is, wherever it is in the world you may be watching from. The team news is in. 3 changes for Richie Cardozo's Wanderers side this week. They line up as follows. In goal, of course, number 1, Tristan Vidakovic. The 4, Ricky Franson. 5, Lachlan Tilt. 6, Riley Hollingdale. 8, Nicholas Badalato. 9, Alat Abdul Rahman. 22, Jesse Cameron. 27, Julian Kopp. 29, Edmund Haddad. 34, my apologies, of course, Richie Nkomo. And 38, leading the line again this week, Noah Peacock. Nathan Barry drops out due to suspension this week, as do Aidan Simmons and Saxon Hillier. As for the Mariners, they line up as follows. I'll take you through just after kickoff here. Whistle blows and away we go. It is the Mariners who get us underway, kicking from right to left on your screens. Immediately going back to their goalkeeper this afternoon, number 40, Joel Wade. The 2 will be Luca Pecora. 4, Rocco Smith. 5, Ben Mewett. Returning this week, number 8 and captain, Lucas Shikluna. The 10, Aok Mo. 11, Jai Rose. 13, Logan Sambrook. 22, Shumba Motokoyi. 23, Lawrence Taylor. And 39, leading the line, will be Harper Riles. Michael Paragali also misses out this week due to suspension, that late red card in last week's fixture against Spirit FC. Rocco Smith might be in a bit of trouble here, a bit of a puzzle to figure out against Peacock, and he does well. And now looks to release Mewett on this near touchline. Rose now trying to skip inside and just brushes off Hollingdale. Looks for the crossfield switch there for Pecora. So for the Mariners, here is Motokoyi taking the place of Paragali, as we said, suspended. No Prayag Tapper this week again for the Mariners. He's succumbed to another seemingly another hamstring injury, I should say. Latest in a bit of a series of those. He's a player who, if he can get his body right and get fit, is a real presence in the heart of that midfield. Driving a ball out of the heart of midfield there was Rose, and Vidakovic, cool as you like, just skipping around Aok Mo. Good feet from the big goalkeeper. Now the referee has got a bit of a decision to make here as to whether that was a foul throw. The ball never entered the field of play, so Ben Mewett instructed just to retake it. As the ball slid out of his hands. They did water the pitch here quite substantially before kickoff, based on the rain that we've had over the last 48 hours, or indeed over the last couple of weeks. I'm not sure it necessarily needed it. As we said, the wet weather on the Central Coast forcing this fixture to be deferred until this afternoon, and as a result also moved down to this fantastic facility here in Western Sydney, it must be said. Gyro's just running out of real estate, but Hollingdale's had his pocket pinched by Shikluna, and now Riles looking to drive forward at the heart of that Wanderers defence, and it's a good timely challenge from Nicholas Badalato to prevent any advance further forwards. Rocco Smith playing back to Joel Wade. Sends it long and Tilt is rising. Now Hollingdale and Nkomo. Good strength from Nkomo to just brush off Aok Mo, and here comes Kopp. Across the face it goes, and Abdul Rahman stretching just about every sinew to try and turn that one goalwards. I feel it may have brushed off his studs. It's taken a touch off a Mariners player on the way through as well. So we'll have our first corner of the afternoon here at Wanderers Football Park. They were just that close to opening the scoring inside 4 minutes here. Chance isn't over just yet though, as the ball is swung in oh so deep, and Motokoyi tangling with his opponent there. Referee seeing fit to award the free kick to the Central Coast after the tangle between Franson and Motokoyi. Joel Wade gets us back underway, and Rocco Smith will switch it out to the right-hand side for Pecora, who tries to skip around Kopp, does well. Slaloming inside here, Pecora, and the crossfield ball is left quite some way behind Mewitz, who's unable to keep it in play. Hollingdale is going back and reloading here with tilt. Franson will go all the way back to Vidakovic. Did say atop the broadcast, the big goalkeeper, he clocks in at over 2 metres tall, in fact 201 centimetres. Apparently Tristan Vidakovic, one of those who's tasted some A-League experience as well. 3 appearances in the A-League to his name. Big raps on that young man. Mewitz just being forced backwards and maybe playing his way into trouble a little bit. Motokoyi playing covering defender, racing across to turn it into touch. Jesse Cameron retrieving a towel to dry the ball off. As we said, the pitch was watered, slick surface out there, and Cameron able to hoist it back into the box where Ricky Franson was rising around the penalty spots, just flicking his header goalwards. Joel Wade happy to watch it wide of his right hand upright. Mariners continue their usual MO of playing out from the back, and they may have played their way into trouble. Abdul Rahman pulls the trigger. Joel Wade was quickly out to snuff it. Danger's not quite dealt with. Haddad was slaloming towards the area, halted by Shikluna, who stayed down, and now Haddad able to open up the pitch here for Cameron. First time delivery! Arriving late again was Abdul Rahman. And again, that one even closer than the previous chance for Wanderers number 9. Well, 2 very big chances in the opening 7 minutes here at Wanderers Football Park, both falling in favour of the hosts. So far, the Mariners nearly gifting them a goal just moments ago. Still, it remains at 0-0. Ben Mewitz getting forward to halt any potential progress from Haddad, just forcing his winger to operate inside his defensive half. So they look for the switch of play here, the Wanderers. Franson, you can see the idea was there, looking for Julian Kopp. I'm not sure if the wind may have caught that as it went up in the air. You may be able to hear on the broadcast the wind absolutely tearing through here at Wanderers Football Park. Here's Hollingdale. In smartly with Shikluna, and now here's Lawrence Taylor for the Mariners. Looking to go forward straight away, but all avenues blocked off. Should have been mentioned perhaps earlier in the broadcast, but this match so crucial for both sides, of course. These two sides occupying the bottom two places in the NPL New South Wales competition. Wanderers currently ahead of the Mariners by 3 points, and a win today potentially taking them out of the bottom two places. The Mariners in desperate need of a win themselves to try and hoist themselves off the foot of the table as Aok Mo has his heels clipped. The Wanderers may come into this one perhaps more confident, perhaps the favourites in fact as well. Particularly after their 3-0 victory over St George last week, as Rocco Smith just lets that get away from him there, and he's left a little bit on Haddad as well in his attempts to retrieve it. Edmund Haddad has stayed prone on the turf. It's a heavy challenge from Rocco Smith, something we're perhaps used to seeing. As we said, the Wanderers coming into this one off the back of that 3-0 victory last week over St George. Haddad was one of those on the score sheet on that evening, and is going to require some treatment here. Meanwhile, the Mariners, well, they haven't tasted victory since all the way back in round 5 down at Sydney United. Only 1 point since then as well, which came in a 1-1 draw at Mount Druitt in round 6. There's been signs of promise, signs of spark at times from the Mariners, but as we said, coming into round 15, reaching the halfway mark of the season, they'll be desperate to ensure that this season doesn't run away from them. Haddad, well, thumbs up from the physio there. Looks like he will be able to continue. Does have to leave the field briefly after receiving treatment, and Battalato will swing the free kick away from goal. It's all too deep. Lachlan tilts, chasing, unable to keep it in the field of play. It was Harper Riles who was also chasing after that one, certainly not shirking his defensive duties. Thrown in, and again the Mariners forced, I should say, to try and play their way out, and they've only played their way out over the far touchline. Hollingdale gets us back on the move. Tilt. Now Jesse Cameron. They'll have it back as well. Cameron. The Wanderers happy now just to stroke it around and display some patience. There's some verticality on display. It's towards Abdul Rahman. Couldn't quite bring it under his spell. Ben Mewett had 3 surround him almost immediately, but he's able to free his feet to find Sambrook. Now Shakluna just keeps it moving for Luca Pecora, himself a former Wanderer, of course. Looking for the reverse pass to Sambrook, but not quite on the same wavelength. Shakluna stepping forward to win it back though, and then has it taken off his toe by his opposite number 8 in Battalato. Peacock drifting wide. Flicked on by Haddad. Giving chase to his own flick on as well, but comfortable claim for the Mariners custodian Joel Wade. Mewett skipping inside and linking up with Riles. He's able to find Dry Rose here as well. just delayed. And then Abdul Rahman coming back to join the party. Again, the number 9 not shirking his defensive duty at all. The Mariners forced to go back and just reload. It's their turn to be patient now. Rocco Smith. Jai Rose, and then very handy ball indeed from Taylor to find Mewett, who bursts into the area now. Ben Mewett pulled back towards the penalty spot. Mo! Well, perhaps it's fair to say that Ayok Mo should have done better with that chance. In such an inviting position, the hard work done from Lawrence Taylor and Ben Mewett to unlock the Wanderers' defence for the first time this afternoon. And now they've got an opportunity to counter here with Julian Kopp. Swung in towards Abdul Rahman. Alat Abdul Rahman denied by a very good stop indeed from Joel Wade, who tracked the ball back across the face and made himself big. The Wanderers getting it forward with great urgency. Great display of verticality, of course. Spotting the opening. The Mariners almost caught napping. They'll have a corner for their endeavours, though, the Wanderers. The referee will just have some sorting out to do here as well in the meantime. Crowded, massive bodies in the 6-yard box. Just about everyone back for the Mariners. Swung in right on top of Joel Wade, who gets 2 very good fists to it, and then Jai Rose will nod it further clear. It's going to come straight back at them, though. Hollingdale pulled back towards a penalty spot, and it's turned home by Ben Mewett. Stretching to try and turn the pullback away from goal, and only manages to put it through his own net. It's fair to say it has been coming. Such was the teasing delivery, or teasing nature of the delivery from Riley Hollingdale. Ben Mewett, with his body shape the way that it was, there weren't many other places that ball was going to end up. The Wanderers hit the lead. Inside 16 minutes here at Wanderers Football Park. Wanderers 1, Mariners 0 in this, the latest instalment of the Battle of the Academies. The Mariners look to go forward immediately. Here's Rose. Again, looking to skip inside and trying to take the game on all by himself there, Jai Rose. Never really got the sort of contact that he needed with that one, just pulling it wide. Here he is again, Rose, Mewett. Back to Joel Wade. Noah Peacock keeping the Mariners custodian under pressure. Wade just puts his foot through it. Pecora has got a bit of space to move into now. Ayok Mo, well, it's too far ahead of him. It's easy for Nkomo to pick up on. Ricky Franson, though, under a deal of pressure himself, forced to turn that one into touch. The Mariners seem to have an increased sense of urgency about them themselves now, but the ball from Mewett didn't find Jai Rose, and now they're pulled out of shape here, the Mariners. Abdul Rahman towards Peacock, back to goal, linking up with Haddad. Curls it! Not far away from Edmund Haddad. That would have been spectacular. Full marks to Noah Peacock, of course. Excellent strength to hold the ball up and awareness to find his teammate there in Edmund Haddad. Not far away from doubling their advantage here, the Wanderers. Mewett striding forward, and it's a very good challenge to halt his progress from Lachlan Tilt, stepping out of the defensive line. no avenues in front, and Como's done well to, again, keep his winger in his own defensive half there, pushing forward from left full-back there. Rocco Smith, Newitz, looking to utilise the full width of the pitch, but running out of real estate right in front of our broadcast position right here. Jesse Cameron will hoist it back into play very quickly. The Wanderers want to keep the intensity, keep the ball speed up, really try and put the screws to the Mariners here. Well left by Peacock and turned around the corner by Haddad. Now it's Abdul Rahman. What a challenge that is. Luca Pecora. Where did he come from? The right fullback from seemingly nowhere, denying what looked like a certain second for the Wanderers. That challenge is just about as good as a goal, really, from Luca Pecora. Job's not done just yet, though. They've got another corner to defend. Well, maybe they won't actually, as the ball swung straight over the byline in the end. Just a goal kick to show for their endeavours. Full credit to Luca Pecora once again, as we said, no stranger to these surroundings here. Previously a Wanderer himself, before spending some time at the Bulls Academy and making the move up to the coast this season. Battalato now for the Wanderers. The younger brother of Alex Battalato, of course, who came through these very surroundings himself. Now on loan at Melbourne Victory from the Wanderers. Challenge from Ayok Mo wasn't the cleanest, wasn't the tidiest by any stretch of the imagination. Just a ticking off from the referee. Tilt spots the run into the channel from Haddad. Rocco Smith, the ball and all challenge really, using his body. He's a very physical, combative centre half, is Rocco Smith. Clearly on display in that challenge. He's left a little bit short of Jesse Cameron, who's now got a bit of a tussle with Lucas Scicluna on his hands. Scicluna will win the throw and get us back underway very quickly. It's a decent enough looking turn from Sam Brook, but he's in turn bundled off it by Hollingdale, who now looks to lead by example. And he's held on to it for too long, has Hollingdale. Excellent covering challenge from Sam Brook. Rose linking up with Ayok Mo. Into the area goes Ayok Mo. Mo strikes the post. Looking to atone for that miss earlier in the half was Ayok Mo, and you don't get much closer than that without scoring. Looking to just creep it inside of the goalkeeper's near post. I say creep, but that's maybe doing the strike a bit of a disservice there, as it was struck with real venom. Here's Ben Mewitz. Now Scicluna. Well, I'm not sure what was his exact intention, but it worked out in a roundabout sort of way for the Mariners skipper. Scicluna, of course, on the score sheet last time these two sides met at Plume Park, where this venue was, or where this fixture, I should say, my apologies, I'll get my words out eventually, was originally scheduled to be played last night. We've had an awful drenching of rainfall across the state, particularly on the Central Coast, over the last few weeks, which has seen a couple of fixture changes and deferments. Hasn't just affected the NPL, but also the Mariners Ninja A-League as well, who had their elimination final against Canberra rescheduled. They're through to the Ninja A-League grand final themselves, of course, down in Melbourne tomorrow afternoon against the Victory, which is full credit to Emily Husband and what she's been able to do in just 2 years on the coast. Just their second season back in the A-League women's setup. Finalists, or semi-finalists last year and grand finalists this year. As for these two, still just the one goal in it. Ben Mewett the difference, but perhaps not in the way that he would hope. The own goal earlier in the half as Shikluna is dragged down just on halfway. If there is one thing we've come to expect from these two sides over the years, and they do have a fairly storied history across both NPL and National Youth League setups. The one thing that we have certainly come to expect is goals. 15 goals in the two fixtures between these two sides last season. As it's clipped forward looking for Riles in the channel. 31 goals in the last 6 matches between these two sides. Some absolute classic encounters as well. Last season at Plume Park finished in favour of the Wanderers by 5 goals to 2 in the reverse fixture here at this venue. The Mariners putting 5 past the Wanderers themselves in that 5-3 victory. Skipping inside here is Pecora looking to find his opposite fullback in Mewett, and he's done ever so well. Mewett now driving into the area. Mewett to the byline, tries to pull it back. Final touch is indeed off a Wanderers player, Jesse Cameron, I believe. So it will be a corner, a rare corner for the coast. Fair to say that the opening exchange is certainly going in favour of the Wanderers, particularly that opening 15 minutes or so. As Rose plays it short for Shikluna from the corner, who will swing it in right on top of the goalkeeper, and it's a fairly easy take for Vidakovic. Barely even had to reach above his head there, as we said. Over 2 metres tall is the Wanderers custodian. And Como's made an interesting sort of run into the channel. It won't quite find him though. The Mariners able to clear it back over halfway as far as Franson. Now Jesse Cameron. Badalato pressed by his opposite number 8 in Shikluna and forced all the way back to Vidakovic. The Wanderers again, patient. The Mariners not really offering any sort of press. Letting them play out of their defensive third and just about out of their own half of the field. Well, not for long. They have won it back centrally, have the Mariners. Shikluna. Tough encounter between he and Julian Kopp. And just cannons back off the legs of Lucas Shikluna and out over that far touchline. Returns to the starting lineup this week and to the squad, in fact, Lucas Shikluna, after a few weeks on A-Leagues and Australia Cup duty. The Mariners are now out of both competitions, losing their Australia Cup playoff to A-League Wooden Spooners Perth Glory after leading by 2 goals to 0, eventually succumbing in extra time by 3 goals to 2. It's been a tough season for the Mariners after number of years of success at A-League level. Here is Shikluna though. Riles has drifted wide. He's got Mewett overlapping and he will utilise the fullback. Mewett just holds it up and awaits support in the form of Shikluna, who he will use as well. And now Shikluna will have to go all the way back to halfway with Montikoyi not trying to force it here, the Mariners. The Wanderers just blocking off all the channels. Now Peacock pressing Montikoyi. Montikoyi able to free his feet enough to find Pecora. He'll have it back as well, and well, that's a very handy looking ball indeed from Mutakoyi. It's a foot race between Mewett and Cameron, and Mewett gets there first, but couldn't quite keep it in the field of play. Out over the byline, just a goal kick. It's definitely a handy looking ball from Shumba Mutakoyi, who we haven't seen a great deal of this season. He did start earlier in the season against Sydney FC in that 1-0 defeat. He was also sent off in the same. Came on for the final 10 minutes or so last week against Spirit FC. For the most part, it's been Paragali and Rocco Smith at the heart of that defence for the Mariners, but Paragali, of course, out this week due to suspension. Here's Shikluna. Speaking of a good range of passing, he's one of those, but Hewitt's seemingly not thinking that he'd be able to reach it. It was a little ways ahead of him. That wind swirling and can play tricks on you as well. Certainly may have caught a good piece of it. Speaking of catching a good piece of it, Rocco Smith, that's a towering sort of header. Riles tries to bring it under his spell, but Wanderers emerge with it. Julian Kopp looking to release Nkomo, who's got plenty of green grass ahead of him here. Nkomo driven into the area again. Peacock. Final touch off Mutakoyi. Yes, another Wanderers corner. They've been fantastic in transition so far in this one, have the Wanderers. Let's see how quickly they're able to spring through the Mariners' lines, who are just seemingly taking a moment or two longer to actually get organised than their counterparts today. Through the opening half an hour here, Wanderers lead by a 1-0, and they have another corner as this one is swung in towards the penalty spot. Rising was Franson, nodded half clear, and then in the end nodded all the way back indeed to Joel Wade. Pecora thought about the long ball in the direction of Sambrook, who was screaming for it up around halfway. Instead played short to Taylor. Pecora will have it back and skip around the initial challenge, and now he'll look to unlock Harper Riles, who's stolen a bit of a march on Franson there, and the reason being is that he was about a metre or so offside when the ball was played. Wanderers keen to get on with things. Keeping it moving is Battalato. Across the back it goes with Franson. And Como. Back on halfway, Battalato. Pushing and probing and trying to stretch the Mariners here. Cameron. Into the channel goes Haddad. Marshalled all the way. Shikluna has a couple of bites at it and eventually plays a clearance straight off the back of Edmund Haddad. May have actually been Jesse Cameron who was on the turf. In any case, the end result stays the same. A Mariners throw on this near touch line. Mewett hoisting it up towards Riles, who nods it down for Shikluna, who's brought down. Free kick will be the result. Mariners head coach Lucas Villela prowling up and down his technical area at the moment. Of course, he and Wanderers head coach Richie Cardozo did spend some time together at the Mariners, linked by Andrew Christensen, who was previously head coach at both clubs. Lucas Villela was the Mariners under-20s academy coach at the time. Richie Cardozo, of course, was Christensen's assistant. Great amount of football nous between those two. Speaking of football nous, that's inventive from Haddad. Can't retain possession though, and Mewett emerges with it for the Mariners. Skips past 1 and 2. The second was Battalato. And able to link up with Harper Riles on the edge of the area. Pulls it back towards Rose. It takes a touch on the way through, but does fall for Sambrook. Now Pecora slaloming, finding Aok Mo to the byline. Pulled back for Rose! Jai Rose levels proceedings here at Wanderers Football Park. And in all fairness, the Coast probably have been deserving, as they have been building into this one quite nicely. Jai Rose's first goal of the season. And we're all square once more. The Wanderers 1, Central Coast Mariners 1. Well, we said earlier in the piece that we've come to expect goals between these two sides. Could we be on for another classic? Haddad carrying it forward. The Wanderers want to hit back immediately, but Rocco Smith halts his progress. Then Rocco Smith is dumped to the deck as well by a combination of Haddad and Abdul Rahman. Well, about 10 or so minutes to go until the interval here at Wanderers Football Park. Jai Rose levelling proceedings just a moment ago after the Wanderers went ahead after an unfortunate deflection from Ben Mewett. This one is held up ever so strongly in the wind here. Now Peacock in a foot race with Motokoyi, who, well, for him, just about anywhere will do. And that anywhere just happens to be behind for another Wanderers corner. That corner counts. Absolutely racking up here in the first half, as the clouds have also started to come back in here in the west of Sydney. Hopefully that rain holds off. We'll see. Corner swung in towards the back post. Wade rises and couldn't quite reach it, and Peacock and Abdul Rahman and another Wanderers player all hit the deck in unison. Rocco Smith is also down for the Mariners, it looks like. There's still another Wanderer down there as well. I think it may be Ricky Franson. It is indeed. The two number 4s. In some amount of discomfort there. They do in turn help each other to their feet. Ricky Franson and Rocco Smith. Rocco Smith is being asked to leave the field. Didn't look like he received any treatment here. Meanwhile, Ricky Franson, has he stayed on or has he had to go off? Well, he's back on now in any case. And he's being waved away once more by the referee. You can maybe hear what the crowd at Wanderers Football Park thinks about that. Both sides down to 10 players, albeit temporarily. Generally, the rule is if you receive treatment, then you are required to leave the field. It didn't look like either player did receive treatment, but in any case, both players back to their feet and back on the field of play, and both sides return to their full complement of 11. It's driven forward by Cameron, looking to find Abdul Rahman in the channel. Marshalled also effectively by Rocco Smith. So often in the thick of it, the Mariners centre half. Excellent use of the body and strength on display there from Rocco Smith. This, of course, the first of 4 fixtures for your Saturday afternoon NPL men's competition, as the Mariners playing their way straight into touch on this near touch line. Rocco Smith, well, won't repeat what I think he said. Suffice to say, none too happy with the pass being left that far ahead of him. Mariners putting themselves under some needless pressure once again as it's hoisted in by Cameron. Rising was Tilt. Mariners head it clear for the moment. Battalato, though, retrieves it. And Como Fizzed in towards Franson. Tilts, pokes it home, and the Wanderers retake the lead here at Wanderers Football Park. The Mariners guilty of playing their way into trouble once again. It all started from that throw-in given away needlessly on the near touchline. They cleared their lines initially, but it was swung straight back in and broke ever so kindly for the centre half there, Lachlan Tilt, who just prods it home and restores the Wanderers' advantage. Just over 5 minutes to go until the interval. Lucas Villela, well, you can see his frustrations on the sideline there. He's the kind of coach that absolutely kicks every ball alongside his players out there. He's in every challenge. He was dancing around on the byline in his technical area just prior to that ball being swung in. He's back to pacing now. Penny for your thoughts indeed. Mewett. Back to Rocco Smith, who's bundled off it, illegally so, in the opinion of the referee. Who also gives Edmund Haddad a bit of a ticking off for not leaving the scene of the crime quickly enough. Delaying the restart and just warning him how easy it is to copy yellow for that these days. Joel Wade, again, under pressure from Noah Peacock and just skewing his ball out. It was intended for Mewett, but was left a long ways away from Ben Mewett. The Wanderers have another throw-in from a similar position to what started all the chaos just a moment ago. It ended up in a goal for this man here, Tilt. Franson looking to switch the point of attack out towards Kopp, but Pecora gets there first. Mo just about able to retrieve it. Well, no, Lawrence Taylor couldn't quite win it back, and now it's Kopp bursting into the area, and, well, Lawrence Taylor with a crucial intervention there. Didn't give up on it after he and Mo were unable to retain it. Dropping in to affect the challenge just as Julian Kopp was about to pull the trigger there. Hollingdale across to take the corner. Checking the pressure of both of the balls that were around the corner spot or quadrant. Picking his favourites, and he'll look to swing this one in. It's gone deep again, where Tilt was lurking. Both he and Shikluna had a bit of a handful of each other on the way through. All the way behind it will go. Just a goal kick at the end of it. Joel Wade clips it forward towards Rose, who rises above Jesse Cameron and is able to flick it on and find Mewett here. Very handy header indeed for the Mariners goal scorer. Here he is again, Jai Rose. Lawrence Taylor now just keeps it moving for Pecora. Spotted the run of Aok Mo, but it's Nkomo with a fantastic sliding challenge to reach it just ahead of Mo. Mariners will have it back. Motakoyi, Smith now. Mewett. Good press coming forward from Abdul Rahman to put Rocco Smith under a bit of pressure there. Joel Wade eventually releasing that pressure valve. Bit of chaos at the heart of defence here, and it might just about break for Harper Riles. Well, Tilt's able to get it clear as far as the touchline on this near side. Clearance nearly falling for Abdul Rahman, but well done Rocco Smith again. Good strength and then good feet on display to turn around him. Now Mewett. Edmund Haddad had a decent handful of his shirt there as well. He could... Well, just a ticking off from the referee for Edmund Haddad. dare say that's his final warning. You've certainly seen those given as well, but the referee happy just to manage this one. Good refereeing in my opinion. Meanwhile, Nkomo and Mo tussling. Well, just as I thought, Richie Nkomo was going to win it, Ayok Mo emerges with it. Now it's Jai Rose looking for Riles, but Jesse Cameron telegraphed it. Nkomo. Shikluna retrieves it off the toe of Kopp, and then is hauled to the deck as well by Kopp. And Nkomo not getting out of the way of the restart. The Mariners will just play on and play it straight into touch on the far touchline. Into the final minutes of regulation time here in the first stanza at Wanderers Football Park. It is the Wanderers who lead the Central Coast Mariners by 2-1, of course. Lachlan Tilt putting them ahead just a few minutes ago. As we all eagerly await, of course, the board going up on the far touchline from the fourth official to see how much time may be added on. This will be the first yellow card of the game indeed. The Mariners playing it straight into the legs of Julian Kopp from the restart, who didn't retreat quickly enough. Some players have already been warned about that today, and referee choosing to go to their pockets as we see the board raised for 2 minutes of time to be added on. Just the standard 2 minutes, of course, at the end of the first half here. 2 minutes for the Wanderers to manage this one out. 2 minutes for the Mariners to try and flip the script somewhat, as Rocco Smith is the latest to take a tumble. Motokoye sending Kopp one way and joined by Peacock. Just plays it square to Smith, and now forward for Rose. Shikluna just keeps it moving for Pecora, who was overlapping. Shikluna remained in support and gets it back. Back on halfway is Motokoye. Ayok Mo. Again, unable to link up with a teammate, but again, ball forward from the Wanderers, intercepted oh so smartly by Lawrence Taylor, who's putting in a good shift at the heart of that midfield today. Rocco Smith and Como rising to meet it and bursting forward. Perhaps one final chance here for Julian Kopp, who pulls it towards goal. Rocco Smith gets the final touch on it, and you can hear perhaps what the players and crowd think about it, feeling that was an intentional back pass from Rocco Smith, and then Jai Rose is rather agriculturally bundled off it by Edmund Haddad. Well, it's all happening here in the final exchanges of the first half here at Wanderers Football Park. Pecora looks to hoist one forward towards Riles. It's Tilt for company, and Tilt will emerge clear with it before being hacked down by Harper Riles. And that will indeed be the final action of the first stanza here in the west of Sydney. An excellent professional display in the opening 45 minutes from the hosts, of course, the Western Sydney Wanderers. They took the lead, courtesy of Ben Mewett putting through his own net. Jai Rose did manage to level proceedings for the Central Coast, but Lachlan Tilt proving the difference at the interval here at Wanderers Football Park. It's the Wanderers 2, the Central Coast Mariners 1. Don't go anywhere. Join us for the second half in about 15 or so minutes' time. A very warm welcome indeed back to the heart of football in Sydney's West, Wanderers Football Park. This fantastic facility here as the Wanderers currently lead the Mariners by 2-1 at the interval here in round 15 of New South Wales NPL men's action. The clouds have started to set in somewhat here and the sun is slowly dipping lower and lower. The temperature dropping but about to rise on the pitch for the final 45 minutes of action. Here in round 15, the Wanderers resume hostilities. On your screens, of course, in their traditional red and black, the Mariners in their traditional yellow and navy. Looking for a way back into this one as Jai Rose is bundled off it by Jesse Cameron. Bit of a shove in the back there. It was Jai Rose who levelled proceedings in the first half for the Mariners. Mutakoyi was looking to link up with Mewett, but it was a little too far ahead and above Ben Mewett. Returning possession back to the Wanderers. All the way back with Tristan Vidakovic. Franson now carrying it forwards. Hollingdale back with Badalato, and across the back it goes for Tilt, who restored the Wanderers' advantage late in the first half. Bit of chaos in the box. Tilt, Johnny on the spot to just prod the ball past Joel Wade. And Como with some heavy contact in the back from Luca Pecora. And Como gets us back on the move quickly, but a little too quickly for the referee's liking. Ball was still moving as he placed it. Badalato now with the eventual restart. Doesn't look like any changes at the interval for the Wanderers as Franson, under some pressure from Mo, able to fire it forwards. Rocco Smith will win the first ball, but not the second. Wanderers will win the free kick in the centre of the park, and Rocco Smith will win a ticking off from the referee. Badalato and Como now. Continues his foray inside, and it's a good-looking ball into the channel as well. It might break kindly here for Julian Kopp. Noah Peacock pulls the trigger, blocked off. Mutakoyi emerges with it and sends it back over halfway with interest. Noah Peacock still looking for his first grade goal at the Wanderers since his move from Spirit FC. He had a very successful season indeed last season, of course. Noah Peacock, under 20s Golden Boot winner in the NPL. It's Haddad for the Wanderers now, driving inside, still going Haddad. Got the strike away. Joel Wade happy to just watch that all the way. Floating harmlessly wide of his right hand upright in the end. Ayok Mo couldn't quite bring it under his spell. Ricky Franson will retrieve it for the Wanderers. Trusting his goalkeeper's feet once more. Cameron. Hollingdale. Stolen away from him, though, by Jai Rose, who is clipped on the way through. Referee just waited to see if any advantage would accrue. It didn't. The Mariners with a chance to launch this one into the area. Instead, they go short. Mewett for Shikluna. Here's Shikluna again, just assessing all the options ahead of him. It will be Rocco Smith to link up with Pecora on this near touch line. Plays square for Shikluna. Might just break here for Pecora. Couldn't quite juggle it under his spell. Peacock able to juggle it away from Motakoyi. Lawrence Taylor now in a foot race with Badalato. Taylor wins out and is able to turn and find Mo. Just brushes off his studs, and Como trucking back to great effect, getting there just ahead of Sambrook. As it started to look half dangerous for the Mariners there just for a moment. Taylor again, body position ahead of Badalato. Rocco Smith. Now Mewett. Looking to invert. And the big raking crossfield switch of play towards Pecora. Motakoyi just calming things down. Wade will send it forwards. It's a long way ahead of Harper Riles, all the way to Tristan Vidakovic in goal for the Wanderers there. Frunson clipping one forwards. Pecora rising. Finding Taylor, who's given Mewett something to chase. And it was a long way away once again from Ben Mewett. And again, just giving possession back to the Wanderers. Hollingdale under a bit of pressure. Deals with it comfortably enough. Vidakovic with the ball at his feet now. Frunson, and Como wants it on this near touch line and will receive it, and then just losing his bearings momentarily in Como. Pecora awaiting some movement from his teammates, eventually will launch it in, just drop it in rather for Aok Mo, who brushes off a couple of challenges and is eventually brought down by a combination of Nkomo and Abdul Rahman. Taylor gets us back underway, and then to Smith via Motakoyi. Now it's Mewett on the far touch line. Motakoyi. Pecora hugging this near touch line and now inverting. Taylor with a bit of space to operate in here. Very handy looking pocket indeed for Lawrence Taylor. Gets the strike away, blocked off by Frunson. Breaks for Mo. Now Shikluna spinning. Just going back and recycling, reloading. Smith, Taylor and Shikluna with the give and go. It's Shikluna from range. Again blocked off by Frunson, who stayed down as well. The Wanderers with a chance to break. A breakneck counter potentially here for the Wanderers. Abdul Rahman, good save from Joel Wade, plunging down low to his left to deny the strike on the edge of the area from Alat Abdul Rahman. Meanwhile, Ricky Frunson has stayed down, looks to be in a fair amount of discomfort after the block of the strike from Lucas Shikluna. We know he can certainly hit a ball. He did score one from a similar sort of range when these two sides met at Plume Park last season. Wasn't to be for the Mariners, though, of course. Western Sydney taking the 3 points that evening in a 5-2, a comprehensive 5-2 victory, it must be said. Ricky Franson is back up and about, just taking on board some fluids. So he won't be in the mixer for this corner. Won by Abdul Rahman, drawing a very good save out of Joel Wade. Wanderers down to 10 for the time being. Variation on the corner as it pops out here for Jesse Cameron. Returns to the corner taker and swung in towards the near post. Acrobatic from Abdul Rahman. Couldn't quite get the connection on it though. Ricky Franson back into the action now and almost called upon. And Como opting just to go back to Vidakovic. As the Wanderers look to get their shape set again. Well drilled, well organised, these Western Sydney Wanderers. Just runs away from Abdul Rahman. Harper Riles able to win it. Retain possession, and now Alat Abdul Rahman wants to burn around the outside of Pecora. Pecora gives him a little nudge, and then Abdul Rahman just left it behind. Ayok Mo couldn't quite reel it in, and Como, and then Peacock. Now Hollingdale sizing up the strike. Hollingdale took a touch on the way through off the leg of Jai Rose, which gave Joel Wade something to think about indeed. In the end, able to clutch it into his chest, and now the Mariners on a foray forward through Jai Rose, looking to link up with Ayok Mo, just left it behind. It's simple, elementary stuff for Nkomo. Battalato now looking to switch the points of attack out to the far touchline. Jesse Cameron. They'll just hold it up here, Cameron, unhappy with what was presented in front of him, so they'll go back across their back four. And eventually all the way back to Vidakovic. Seemingly inviting the press of the Mariners, which is not forthcoming here. Battalato. Again, all the way back to Vidakovic. Tilt. Cameron now. Able to link up with Haddad. Jai Rose is tracking back with ferocious intensity. And a very good sliding challenge as well to take it off the toe of Haddad as he looked to swing that one in. At the expense of yet another Wanderers corner. It's been desperate last-ditch scrambling stuff at times in the Mariners' defence, causing corner count to tick over into double figures as this one is swung in deep again. And Como to retrieve it this time. Has support here in Battalato. He'll clip it in towards the back stick. Rising is Wade. Doesn't quite get a fist to it though. Franson somehow rising above the Mariners' gloveman. Final touch off Ricky Franson and behind. Joel Wade doing just enough to put off the Wanderers' centre half. And then Joel Wade, no interest in playing out from the back. He goes long towards Ayok Mo. Coming together between Mo and Franson is exactly that and nothing more, just the coming together. Jesse Cameron clipping one forward. Peacock giving chase. Motokoyi there just ahead of Noah Peacock, who looks like he's gone down with a touch of cramp here. Just his fourth start in the first grade setup here today, Noah Peacock. Of course, started in last week's 3-0 victory over St George as well. As we said, Golden Boot last year in the 20s for Spirits FC. Also chipped in with a couple of valuable goals in the Australia Cup as well. Still just 19 years of age. He's certainly put in the hours, put in the work, and one to keep an eye on for the future. The Mariners, meanwhile, have gone to their bench. A double change here, it looks like. Jesse Mantell enters the fray. As does Jordan Small. Lawrence Taylor, one of those to depart. Just looking for confirmation on who the other was. I think it may have been Logan Sandbrook. Wanderers also will take the opportunity to make a couple of changes of their own. As we see the board go up, confirmation Lawrence Taylor has departed for Jordan Small. A like-for-like change there. Good performance from Lawrence Taylor for the 55 or so minutes that he was out there today for the Mariners. As the Wanderers get us back underway, Awan Lual is one of those who has just entered the fray for them. Big presence up top, of course, the number 18. It's clipped in towards Lual. Wade had to be alert to it and was. Luka Knezovic, the other who has entered the fray and is into the action almost immediately here. Taking it away from his opposite number 10 in Mo as the flick on comes from Lual. Confirmation as we see the board go up over the far touchline that Noah Peacock has taken his leave for the evening as Pecora advances on this near touchline. Now it's Aok Mo spinning away from his opposite number 10 in Knezovic and taking it to the byline. Pecora clips it in near post. Headed clear by Franson. Aok Mo wins it back for the Mariners though. Now Shikluna skipping past 1 and 2. Now trying to get us Nkomo, and a good sliding challenge from Knezovic to take it away from Luka Pecora before he can deliver anything into the area. A rare corner for the Mariners though at the end of the sequence as they look to try and battle their way back into this one. Corner taken short. Jai Rose will have it back. Only momentarily, though, it's taken away from him almost immediately by Nkomo. Will be Nkomo to hoist it back into play towards Abdul Rahman. Jordan Small picking up on the scraps, though, for the Mariners. Wide it will go with Mewett. Rocco Smith skipping around Lual. Now Mantell. Wide is Mewett. Still going here is Ben Mewett. Pulled back towards Jordan Small, who can't quite bustle his way past Knezovic. And now the Wanderers with a chance for 3-on-2 if they're quick enough. The ball is all too far ahead of Abdul Rahman though. Just trying to force the pass somewhat. The Mariners look to go straight back up the other end. And Lucas Shikluna has taken out Julian Kopp in the process, and he will cop a yellow card. Just late coming into the challenge there, but nowhere near the ball was Lucas Shikluna. Still half an hour to play here at Wanderers Football Park here in round 15. If you are just joining us, Pete Pryor with you. An absolute pleasure to have your company, as it always is. As the Wanderers with that 2-1 advantage, as it was at the interval. Ben Mewitz across, playing covering defender on this near touch line. Winning the throw-in as well. It was, in fact, Jordan Small. My apologies. I've said it once. I've said it twice. I'll say it again. I'm certain that Ben Mewitz and Jordan Small go to the same barber. Mantell. Smith. It's an interesting sort of looking ball, giving Mo something to drop in on, and he does so with aplomb. Now Jai Rose has Pecora overlapping on this near touch line. It is Pecora into the half space, but picked out ever so effectively by Franson, who's been excellent at the heart of defence for the Wanderers this evening. Cuts an imposing figure alongside Lachlan Tilt, of course, who, as it stands, is the difference between these two sides. Scored the second. Ben Mewitz was the one who put through his own nets for the game's opening goal in favour of the Wanderers. Jai Rose did equalise. And here is Rose. Now Shikluna. And it was a little ways ahead of Ben Mewitz, but this time he's able to stretch and bring it under his spell. Motokoye. He's under a little bit of pressure here. His first touch wasn't the greatest, but he was able to dig it out eventually. Now swung out to Pecora on this near touch line. Picked out by Nkomo, who feels the contact after the ball had already gone as well. Advantage played, and it could turn out to be a very good one indeed. Well, the move breaking down, the curse of the commentator striking there. Jai Rose now looking to unlock Ayok Mo on this near touch line, and guess who's there again? It's Franson skipping away from Ayok Mo with relative ease as well. Jai Rose stretching to try and keep it in the field of play on this near touch line. Jordan Small just getting a ticking off from the referee there as well after the late contact on Nkomo just a moment ago. Good refereeing there just to see how play would develop and have a quick chat with the player after the fact as well. Back with Franson, Tilt, Cameron. The Wanderers seemingly starting to enter into game management mode here. Pecora had body position ahead of Knezovic. And now they look to open up the pitch here with Ben Mewitz. Mantell. Shikluna. Jordan Small just needs to keep it moving. Forced to go back to Smith. Good turn from Mewitz, who slaloms forwards. Strike at the end of it as well. Now it'll pop out for Rose. Good save, Vidakovic. The strike from Jai Rose right on the edge of the area came through a sea of bodies. Vidakovic, in all likelihood, would have seen it reasonably late. Stood tall for long enough and able to push it away. Keeping his side in front here. As the lights are switched on, beaming down on us here at Wanderers Football Park as the Mariners look to try and flip the script here with Mo. Sliding in again is Nkomo to take it away from Pecora. Another Mariners corner though. Again, variation on this corner. Shikluna. Now it's Mantell. Digs it out to Pecora, who will swing it away from goal. Well, only to the near post where Hollingdale was awaiting the delivery and gets there first, but again, forced to turn it behind. Shikluna sending all the short options away this time. Out-swinging delivery again towards the near post. And again, headed behind once more. This time, Jesse Cameron across. Pecora came racing across to try and retrieve a spare ball on this near touchline, but Chikloon has managed to source his own to take the third corner in quick succession here for the Mariners. Again, swung out towards the penalty spot. Smith! What a save that is, Tristan Vidakovic. If you don't mind, at full stretch there. Stretching every fibre of that impressive wingspan of his, plunging down low to his left to turn that behind. Another corner at the end of it, though. Chikloon once again. This should be Vidakovic's ball, and it is indeed a very comfortable take for the big gloveman. Now, it might just break here for Lual, giving Abdul Rahman something to chase. Ben Mewett is there to clean up the scraps, though. Just calming it down, Motokoyi, and then Smith. And now Mantell has got a bit of space to move into here, driving forward. And driving inside is Jesse Mantell, just bumps off the initial challenge. And then has support in the form of Chikloon. The Mariners looking to force the momentum back in their favour here. Pecora, slide rule ball this for Mantell in the half space. Fancy the final touch. Well, looked like it might have been off Jesse Mantell, but yet another corner. Julian Kopp with the final touch behind. Mo takes it quickly. Pecora swings it into the 6-yard box. And guess who? Ricky Franson again. Chesting it and then clearing it towards Abdul Rahman. Tussles with Mantell. And the free kick at the end of the sequence going in favour of the Mariners, much to the chagrin of those in red and black around us here. Did feel perhaps 6 of one, half a dozen of the other, and Como and Chikloon with a bit of a handful of each other's jerseys. And Como deemed to be more the aggressor in that situation. But no openings immediately present for the Mariners. All the way back with Smith, who now looks to send it forward towards Mewett. Rising was Cameron. Wanderers there just forcing the pass somewhat towards Lual. Wade up towards Mo, chested down for Jai Rose, who skips inside the initial challenge from Kopp, and then Kopp takes it straight back off his toe and emerges with it. Only momentarily, though. Jordan Small picks up on the loose ball. Chikloon now. Mewett has Haddad paying him very close attention. Forced to go back and reload. Motokoyi. Mo unable to evade the attention of Nkomo, and the Wanderers could be on for 3-on-3 here if they're quick enough. Knezovic has nothing but green grass in front of him. Shifts onto his right. Knezovic, good save again from Joel Wade, pushing it away initially. They might get a second bite at it here. It's Lual. It's another good save. They might get a third bite at it here. With Abdul Rahman, who couldn't quite sort his feet out, and then it coming together between he and another Mariner, who both look to be in some degree of discomfort. Another 2 very good saves, though. Take nothing away from Joel Wade. Who keeps the Mariners in with a chance in the final 20 or so minutes at Wanderers Football Park. Both sides have given just about everything and then some for the cause so far today, and perhaps no surprise that we're seeing a couple of players go down with cramp here and there. Noah Peacock earlier in the half, of course, after an industrious performance up top. Lawrence Taylor also just about ran himself into the ground in the middle of the park for the Mariners. He has since departed. I'm just having a look because I think this may be Lucas Shikluna. No, Shikluna is in the centre of the box and signalling that his stricken teammate, by process of elimination, I'm going to say is Luca Pecora, is unable to continue. So the Mariners will have to go to their bench once more. Looking at the options on the bench they have remaining, Kai Schumacher, Angus Reid are the two defensive options. Saw Schumacher come on and do a job at left back last week. Angus Reid perhaps more of a natural centre half. Other option on the bench for the Mariners, Ahmed El Helu. Certainly more of an attacking option for Lucas Villela should he choose to use him. Luca Pecora is back to his feet and has made his way off the pitch very, very gingerly indeed. So we're going to see a bit of a defensive reshuffle here for the Mariners. Kai Schumacher is indeed the replacement for Luca Pecora. As Riles flicks this one around the corner, the flag is up though, as it looked like Jesse Mantell may have been on the march forward. I fancy it was Harper Riles who was the guilty party. It looked tight. The Wanderers will use this opportunity to go to the bench themselves. Jesse Cameron, who has performed admirably at right full-back this afternoon for the hosts. One of those withdrawn. The other one will be Julian Kopp, who's also got through a mountain of work in the centre of the park this afternoon. As the Wanderers look to shore things up here, the Mariners have also made another change in the meantime. Ahmed El Helu is indeed on, as Dry Rose gives chase here, putting Vidakovic under a bit of pressure. And again, cool as you like, Tristan Vidakovic. Ball and all challenge there. Will break for El Helu, who has Shikluna operating towards this near touch line. Operating as a makeshift right back now, Lucas Shikluna, as he did against St George City the other week in that 3-2 loss for the Mariners. He wants it now as well, and it is played out in his direction by Joel Wade. And how's your touch, Lucas Shikluna? Not bad, he says. Looks to skip inside and link up with Rose. And again, it's Franson on hand. What a performance, what a shift he's put in this afternoon. Sliding challenge to break the move down. Schumacher for the Mariners. Dry Rose now centrally has his heels clipped by Anthony Barbic, who was one of those introduced just moments ago. The other one, of course, that straight swap for Jesse Cameron. Lachlan Henderson on it, right full back. Motokoyi is able to link up with Shikluna in spite of the sliding challenge from Lual. And now it's Schumacher. Rose. Oh, cheeky little nutmeg as well from Rose on Hollingdale, but the ball is just too far ahead of Harper Riles, who was marshalled effectively all the way by Lachlan Tilt as well. Vidakovic will just plunge on the ball and soak up a few more valuable seconds here for the hosts. Into the final 15 or so minutes here at Wanderers Football Park. Are we set up for a blockbuster finish as Abdul Rahman tussling with Smith. Smith sliding in and winning it back for the Mariners. Schumacher. Smith can't retain it though. Schumacher will win it back. It's all getting a bit frantic and frenetic out there in the centre of the park. Knezovic unable to evade the attention of Jordan Small. Scicluna now linking up with Rose. Still driving forward here is Jai Rose, going one way and the other. And then it's taken off his toe. Excellent defending once again. Not diving in. Just waiting, delaying. Rocco Smith, well, that's a wonderful ball to pick out. Scicluna unlocking that corridor there, and Scicluna just letting Knezovic dive in and skipping around him initially. Knezovic has recovered well enough though. Scicluna eventually pulls it back into the area. El Helu! Behind just for a goal kick at the end of it. Lucas Scicluna perhaps just running out of room on the byline. He's slow to retake his feet here as well, Scicluna. Well, it looks like he's got a touch of cramp as well. He's not moving freely at all. The Wanderers, meanwhile, will make their final change of the afternoon. Edmund Haddad is off. Akul Akon will take his place for the final 13 or so minutes plus any time to be added on. As we resume proceedings with Motokoyi rising, only nodding it as far as Barbic. Now Knezovic. Anthony Barbic again spinning. A decent looking crossfield switch of play as well to find Henderson, who is effectively marshalled by Mewett, who's able to turn and clear it in the direction of Riles, who advances over halfway momentarily, halted by another very well-timed sliding challenge from Tilt. Is there another twist in the tail to come between these two sides? Scicluna playing it forward. Final touch was off El Helu. And the Mariners now will go to their bench for the final time this afternoon. Lucas Scicluna, well, the cramp was setting in. He's got through a mountain of work this afternoon. He will take his leave. Hands the armband across to Rocco Smith and Angus Reid is on to try and help the Mariners find something in the final 12 or so minutes here. Good looking layoff to find Akon here. Bursting into the area and pulled in towards Abdul Rahman. And rolling agonisingly wide of that far upright from Alat Abdul Rahman. He's been knocking on the door this afternoon. He's come so close on no shortage of occasions. And that one wasn't far away either. You can't help but feel that surely would have iced the game for the Wanderers, but on we go. Mewett, Schumacher now. Angus Reid with his first involvement. His first involvement, unfortunately, sees it floating out of play. Como hoists it back in, but only as far as ahead of Jai Rose. Jordan Small was spinning and did have his heels clipped on the way through. Just a bit of a talking to here as well for Lual, who just nudged the ball away as the Mariners look to retrieve it. The Mariners do eventually proceed with the restart, and it's found Mantell, and now Small skips away from one. Linking up with Jai Rose now. Jai Rose works his way into the area, pulled back across the face. It's 2-2. They've pulled this one out of the fire. And it's Harper Riles who was lurking in the back post with real dangerous intent. Just about something out of nearly nothing for the Central Coast. Jai Rose has an assist to go with his earlier goal. And well, we did say that we're not quite done just yet. 10 minutes to go. Harper Riles has nodded the Mariners back into parity here in Western Sydney. I'll take nothing away from the fantastic endeavour on display from Jai Rose there as well. He really made the goal with his driving, darting run into the area. And the dangerous pullback all the way across the face of goal as well. Where to from here? Lachlan Tilt, who was the one who put the Wanderers ahead in the first half. Back to Vidakovic. And Como wants it on this near touchline. It will be fired out in his direction. Angus Reid will rise to meet it with no pressure around him. And then Schumacher will help it on towards El Helu. Vidakovic, well, he's got himself into potentially a bit of trouble here as he's come all the way outside his area, and he has handled that one. It was an oh-so-difficult one to judge as the ball sort of swirled around in the air, high over the top from Kai Schumacher. Now it's just going to be a yellow card for Tristan Vidakovic. The ball was not heading towards goal at the time of his contact. But it was a touch he had to make. If not for him, El Helu would have been free with an acre of space. Does the plot thicken somewhat? Jai Rose with the free kick right on the edge of the area. He turned provider for Harper Riles just a couple of minutes ago. What's the delivery like this time from Jai Rose? Swung in away from the back post. There are a couple of yellow shirts rising, but no one able to make any real sort of meaningful. Only as far as Rose. Now Small. Blocked off initially, but it's Jai Rose again. Franson has brought him down, and the referee waves it away. Then he hauls him to his feet as well, Ricky Franson. Well, we did say it's getting a bit chaotic, a bit frenetic, and it keeps developing even more and more so. We are indeed absolutely well and truly set up for a grandstand finish here in Western Sydney as Mewett drags back Akon. Well, it's perhaps a bit of a smart foul to give away, if you can call it that, from Ben Mewett, just halting any potential counter in transition from the Wanderers. Here's Knezovic. Franson, it just ran away from him a little bit, and Jai Rose is going to give him something to think about. Well, thought about it and dealt with it as well, Franson. Not once, but twice. Clearance falls onto the head of Rocco Smith. But here comes Abdul Rahman for the Wanderers, one-on-one with Smith. And Smith not diving in. Affecting the challenge. Out into touch on that far touchline. As we enter the final 5 minutes of the regulation here at Wanderers Football Park. Franson, forward it goes now for Nkomo, sliding in to great effect is Angus Reid, who's only been on the pitch a few minutes. Here's Nkomo, taken off his toe by Small. Knezovic will retrieve it, and they'll just look to reload, recycle through Franson. Now Henderson. Tussle in the centre of the park between Schumacher and Hollingdale. Hollingdale wins out. Just ran away from Lachlan Henderson on the far touchline, giving possession back to the Mariners. Mewett. Smith. A point here doesn't really do much for either side. Of course, it does keep the Wanderers 3 points ahead of the Mariners. The Mariners would remain anchored to the foot of the table. Mathematically, maybe it doesn't do anything, but you could see just what that goal from Harper Riles meant for the Coast. Everyone forward to celebrate it, of course. Perhaps, if nothing else, it will give them belief. An injection of morale so desperately needed after so long on the road. We're going to see 6 minutes of time added on here as we tick over that final minute of regulation time. 6 minutes to see if we can separate these two sides. As it goes forward towards Mantell, who'll win the throw-in as well. Well, cries for a handball against Rocco Smith, not heeded by the referee. I must apologise, just a couple of minutes ago I did say that we had 5 minutes remaining. However, that was me going off the scoreboard on the far touchline, which may have been started a little late into the second half, so I do apologise. We have about 5.5 minutes of time added on to see if we can find a winner here today in Western Sydney. It's Knezovic now. Hollingdale, head up, always scanning, always assessing the options, is Riley Hollingdale. Here's Ricky Franson, who, for me, has potentially been the man of the match for the Wanderers this afternoon. And Como looks to swing it in towards the penalty spots. There's a couple arriving late, one of who was Akon. Couldn't quite force the issue for the Wanderers. Joel Wade sending everyone forward as he launches it back over halfway. It's Franson who rises highest. Hollingdale helps it on. Akon in turn helps it on, and now Lual's giving chase. Motakoyi gets there first and then skips away from Knezovic as well. Well done, Shumba Motakoyi indeed, and then he's able to pick the pass as well for El Helu. Couldn't quite make the pass stick though. Rocco Smith, well, thought he might have been caught on his heels there, but assessed the options or assessed the situation very well indeed. Now it's Mewett striding forward, still going here. Is it Ben Mewett? Flashing just a matter of centimetres wide of Vidakovic's goal. Ben Mewett, who, of course, opened the scoring at the wrong end of the field. So close to atoning for that. And he stayed down after the fact as well. He has got through an absolute mountain of work, the Mariners' left fullback Ben Mewett this afternoon. Stretching it out, so it looks like it might be another case of cramp. We've seen quite a bit of it this afternoon. About halfway through the allotted 6 minutes of time added on here at Wanderers Football Park. Be interesting to see if Ben Mewett is able to continue, or if the Mariners have to go on with 10. Of course, they have emptied their bench. Both sides, in fact, have emptied their benches. Mewett is moving, but he's not moving freely. It may just be a case of get him on there as a body. Rocco Smith clips it out in the direction of Rose. It's over the head of Jai Rose, though, who himself has been excellent this afternoon. Jai Rose has a goal and an assist to his name, of course. Mewett is back on, but gee whiz, he is not moving freely at all. Mantell looking to pick the lock there for Harper Riles. Just a little ways ahead of Harper Riles. Vidakovic with the side volley. Up over halfway again, rising was Rocco Smith, but it breaks for Knezovic, and then Abdul Rahman, and then Nkomo swung into the area. Motokoyi rising first. Hollingdale unable to get the strike away before the challenge from his opposite, number 6 in small. Nkomo now has it back though. Abdul Rahman wants to get at Angus Reid here and goes around him too. It's Nkomo. And well, Jordan Small dropping in there, driving it into the legs of Nkomo and behind for just a goal kick. Oh, it's been nothing short of entertaining, nothing if not entertaining, of course, as it so often is between these two sides. As we said, 15 goals all told in the last 2 meetings between these two sides. We've had another 4 here today. And they've been made to work for them as well, of course, particularly the Mariners, who are up against such a well-drilled, well-organised Wanderers outfit. The likes of Ricky Franson and Lachlan Tilt, who have been colossus at the back so far today. Do they have one last chance here, the Wanderers? Knezovic, well, it didn't quite fall for him. It's cleared by Angus Reid. Nodded forward by Tilt to Hollingdale. Wide it will go, and there's a bit of a slip there, which allows Mantell to steal in ahead of Henderson. And now Mantell. Was that Ben Mewett striding forward, somehow finding just a final burst of energy, but he's bundled off it. And it's now Lual for the Wanderers, bursting into the area, and it's a wonderful sliding challenge from Rocco Smith there. Taking it off the toe of Lual just as he looked to pull the trigger. Now it's Jai Rose. You can't look away for a second. Jai Rose is the latest to be sized down. Abdul Rahman, well, he'll be happy to take the yellow card for that. We've ticked over the 6 minutes of time added on here at Wanderers Football Park. It's going to be a final roll of the dice here. Just about everyone forwards for the Mariners. Ben Mewett is up on halfway, and he's just about out on his feet as well. Jai Rose to hoist this one forward once again. Once more into the fray. Nodded clear by Henderson as far as Mantell. Mantell gets the strike away. It's a bit of chaotic pinball before Franson's able to deal with it and hook it clear. And Como linking up with Abdul Rahman, and they look to go straight up the other end. The Wanderers, Ben Mewett has done fantastically well there, and then Joel Wade off his line to effect the final clearance. And that will be that, as signalled by the referee here at Wanderers Football Park. And breathe. An absolutely high tempo, all action, frenetic finish to this one here. The Mariners have their first point since round 6 in the latest instalment of the Battle of the Academies, of course. They were made to work for it. It was Ben Mewett who opened the scoring, but for the Wanderers, as he put through his own net early in the first half, Jai Rose did level proceedings before Lachlan Tilt prodded home to put the Wanderers ahead just before the interval. Harper Riles managed to snag an equaliser for the Coast. And the final 10 minutes or so were played at an absolutely incredible tempo. Unable to separate these two academies at the end of it all, though. This one has finished at Wanderers Football Park. Western Sydney Wanderers 2, Central Coast Mariners 2. Absolute pleasure having your company, as it always is, once again this evening on the Football New South Wales channels. But from myself, Pete Pryor, I'll see you all next time. It's bye for now.